This is your host, Tom, and welcome to Game Time, coming to you from 734 Games. And today, we are here to ask you one question. Can you walk the mirror's edge? And before we get started with that, my nephew is getting cancer treatments. His Gofundme is in the description. Any money you give to this channel will go to that. And let's get started with Mirror's Edge. The original version has been updated somewhat by the developers. So let's check it out.
Once the city used to pulse with energy, dirty and dangerous, but alive and wonderful. Now, it's something else. The changes came slowly at first. Most didn't realize, or didn't care, and accepted them. They chose a comfortable life. Some didn't. And those who refused to conform were pushed to the sidelines, criminalized. They became our clients. We call ourselves runners. We exist on the edge, between the gloss and the reality. The mirror's edge. We keep out of trouble, out of sight, and the cops don't bother us. Runners see the city in a different way. We see the flow. Rooftops become pathways and conduits, possibilities, and routes of escape. The flow is what keeps us running, keeps us alive.
This is your host, Tom, and today we are playing the classic Mirror's Edge, the original game from EA and DICE. And this is a game with some gameplay that's kind of reminiscent of Dying Light a little bit. Of course, this game is more about the non-violent sort of disarming your opponent or knocking them out, and then, doing some parkour and running up a wall and doing some other really cool stuff. And it has this cute little Asian character, female, who does all this cool stunt stuff. And it's a fun game, and it has a really cool conspiracy story I think you're going to enjoy. And of course, this is a game, it was a AAA game, although it was not expected to be as popular as it was. I don't know how well it sold, but it was a popular game. A lot of people liked it, and a lot of people enjoyed it. And I think it's a game that a lot of you are going to enjoy if you've never played it. And now they have a sort of a sequel prequel to it called Mirror's Edge Catalyst. That game was not as well received as this game. But a lot of people, that game is still a game that a lot of people are playing. So, yeah, you should check this game out. It has decent enough presentation. Good voice acting, everything. And the story scenes are told in a sort of comic booky style. So it kind of has that comic book noir type style to it. And it's in a pseudo-futuristic society, kind of dystopian society, where corporations are spying on each other, and there's all kinds of different intrigue going on between corporations and states and cities and whatever. So you got all that going on, and you have a fun story where you have to really think your way out of some of the problems that you come across during the game. So I wouldn't call this a puzzle game as much as it's just a fun parkour game with some action and a lot of trying to figure your way how to run up a certain wall and get to a certain area and do a certain thing. I did another game called Ghost Runner, and that has a lot in common with this game, except that game is not non-violent whatsoever. That game has more of a cyberpunk aesthetic, so that's a little bit different. This game has a light cyberpunk aesthetic, just a light one, more dystopian than cyberpunk, but there's a little bit in common here. They have a little bit in common here. And, if you enjoy this type of game, this is definitely a game that you're going to want to pick up. The original one, you can get this game on Xbox, PC, GOG, Steam, PlayStation, anywhere. Now, as far as I know, the Xbox version and the PC versions are the only versions that are in 4K. I have this game. I played it on Games Pass. It was obviously all these games are on Games Pass, so that's a great value. I have the GOG and the Steam copy, though. I like to own the GOG copies. GOG copies are great. Check them out. Check this game out. And also, I do some alt tech. I put my videos on alt tech. Like, obviously, if you're probably most likely watching this on Bitchute, I use YouTube just to get just to show you guys the HD quality. Because YouTube, that's one thing YouTube is good at, is having good quality. And also, I have my videos on Odysee and BitTubers TV. So check those sites out. YouTube, I can't really get any views on because it doesn't matter. They're not going to give me any views, so whatever. But I love my Bitchute site and Odysee and BitTubers. Those are great sites. check them out. They're great alt sites. And definitely, I hope you're enjoying some of this cool Mirror's Edge footage. And I'll probably do a Mirror's Edge Catalyst video eventually. But for some reason, Mirror's Edge Catalyst is not in 4K like this game. Like, they really did a good job prettying this game up for modern systems and modern consoles, or at least, like play Xbox One X. And I'm sure the Series X version of this probably looks great too. As far as PlayStation, I don't know if the PlayStation version is 4K. Probably is not. But it's still probably pretty decent looking on the PlayStation. And that's it for this episode of Game Time. This is your host, Tom, signing off from 734 Games, where gaming is alive.
That the evidence you lifted?
Yeah, I think it's from a diary. Rest of it was gone. All I can make out are Icarus, maybe, and
in wax. Then the boy flew too close to the sun. And psst, no more wings, no more Icarus. If anyone's heard anything, then you know who it'll be, Faith.
yeah.
I know he ain't a runner anymore, but he's got contacts. You can't avoid him forever.
Wanna bet?
Who?
Jackknife.